Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Soul Speak, the podcast for teens. I am your host, Emily Miller, Teen Intuitive. Okay, so last week we went into depth about why you don't already know that you're perfect. And we talked about where some of these ideas that we aren't perfect come from. And so this episode, I want to get fully into where do these beliefs come from? Why do we not already know that we're perfect? And why do we not believe that we are perfect? We believe that there is something wrong with us, that we have to change something. So where do beliefs come from? And then we're also going to touch on the law of focus and how it can work against us and how it can work for us. So first, let's talk about beliefs and where they come from. So a belief is just very simply put, it is something that we think we can or cannot do, something that we have or do not have. It's like that saying I've told you guys before, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So it's just based on your beliefs. And beliefs they get cemented in us. I'll talk about where they come from in just a second, but beliefs are just something that we have heard over and over and over again, or seen over and over and over again. Beliefs come from even thoughts that we think over and over and over again. They're just things that come through repetition. And just because we have a belief, it doesn't mean that that belief is true. So let that sink in. Just because you believe something does not make it true. Okay? So think about some beliefs that you might have and hold about yourself. How do those beliefs make you feel? So a belief that I have always had about myself is that I'm really bad at math. And it was always something that was super, super hard for me. So all the way up until college, like I remember in college having to go take my college algebra exam. And I had my stepdad help me with it. And he's like really good at math. And so he was tutoring me for it. And I took the course online so I could have him help me with it because that's how horrible I was at math. And so I was driving to go take the exam. I had like my note cards. I was studying on the way, which was really awful for me to be driving and studying at the same time. But I was doing that and got to the exam, ended up passing the course with like a B, and I was ecstatic. So I just always had this belief that I was really bad at math because whenever I was younger, something happened where I got a bad grade on a math test, and then that cemented this belief that I was really bad at math. And so it followed me throughout my life until, really probably until still now. But what I know now is that certain types of math I really am not good at, and I'm not meant to be good at those things. Like, why do I need to know what x plus y plus z over the 14th power is? I don't. But what I am really good at is like doing money type numbers, banking numbers, those kinds of things, like all the money stuff that matters, right? And so I am really good at that. So just because I had this belief that I was really bad at math for such a long time, it made me also believe that I was really bad with money because money is so concerned with numbers. So you get these beliefs because something happened, and you get proof over and over again that these beliefs are true. And so then you start to believe them and not seeing like the other side, the flip side of the coin, where maybe I was really bad at algebra, but I am really good at like bookkeeping type math. And so you can see there's a difference of things in how you can think that you're really bad at one thing, but actually you're really good at the thing that matters to you whenever it comes to like a certain subject, maybe like math. So think about how those beliefs make you feel. Does this belief that you hold about yourself, maybe your belief is that you're a really bad public speaker and you can't get in front of a classroom and give a speech. That could be a belief that you hold. Well, does that belief make you feel limitless? Does that belief make you feel good? Does that belief make you feel like you could conquer the world? No. That belief is a belief that you have that is limiting, that would stop you from doing many things in life. So, whenever you have these beliefs, these things that you hold true about yourself, you want to look at the beliefs and you want to think, does this belief serve me? Is it something that is going to help me become a better person? Or does this belief limit me and does it keep me from doing things in this lifetime? And if the answer is that it's limiting and it's keeping you from doing things in life, then you can know that that belief is not true. And the other thing about that belief, knowing that it's not true, is that you are going to be able to find things that are the exact opposite of that belief that you hold that will serve you. So we'll talk about that in a second. Actually, it's the exact example that I just gave you about the math thing, where I thought I was bad at math, but actually I'm really good at accounting math. And so what's better than to be good at counting money, right? Okay, so we have these beliefs. We want to know if they're serving us or not serving us. And the way to tell if they're not serving you is if they don't feel good, if they're limiting you in any way, shape, or form. And if they are a limiting belief that you hold, then what also comes with that is it's a belief that's showing you that you are out of alignment of your soul pull, soul path, that you are having this thing that you are holding on to about yourself that's going to keep you from achieving all the things that you're meant to achieve in this lifetime. So it's really important to just start to notice these beliefs and how they make you feel, and then understand if you don't feel good about these beliefs about yourself, then there's something that you've picked up along the way that is not true, that is only keeping you off of your path, out of alignment, out of the true you, the true self version of you that you're meant to be in this lifetime. So keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about these beliefs that you have. So the next thing that I want to talk about, so we know what a belief is and how it gets cemented a little bit, okay? The next thing is that where these beliefs stem from, these beliefs that don't make us feel good. So typically what happens is around age 5 to like 7, you will have a life event, something that happens that's probably pretty significant. Sometimes it could be very insignificant. Maybe you don't even remember it. It's just stored in the subconscious brain. But typically there will be things that are kind of big events that happen in your life. And what they will ultimately do is make you feel not special. So remember how we talked about in the last episode that human beings, we are always seeking and searching for acknowledgement, for praise, for validation, for confirmation from the people around us that are our caregivers, our coaches, our teachers, our siblings, our friends, our boyfriends, girlfriends, whoever they are. We're constantly seeking validation outside of us. And so that is where the feeling, where this first event will stick in your brain. So it will be a time in your life where typically the person who is a caregiver, so like your parents, something will happen with them, and it will be a time where you are seeking their validation, you're seeking their attention, and you don't get it. So think about, like, I'll give you an example. This one's very relatable. There's so many people whose parents have gotten divorced. And let's say your parents get divorced when you're young, and the parents split up, one moves away. And that parent, most of the time, the one who is not available to you is the one who you are trying to seek validation from the most. And so, and it works out that way, so it makes the biggest impact on you in your life. And so that parent that you're seeking the validation from, the confirmation, the attention, the love, you're seeking the love from them, that parent leaves. And then you get a belief in you that you aren't special, that you aren't special enough for them to stay. Now, while this is wildly untrue, our little self brains take that, hold on to it, and then create this massive situation that will last a lifetime from this event where the parent moves away because the two parents weren't getting along, when really it has nothing to do with you, but you feel like it might have everything to do with you because you're a little kid. And so what your brain does is it's saying, I'm not special enough for that parent to stay. What's wrong with me that is making that parent leave? And so that implants into you as like a core memory, as something that is very solid within you because it's so impactful to you. And then that is basically the very beginning of your life's soul lesson. And a soul lesson is what you are meant to overcome in a lifetime. And many times these soul lessons will repeat over multiple lifetimes because your soul wants to master that lesson. And what will happen is this gets implanted into you, this I'm not special. That parent left me. What's wrong with me? There must be something wrong with me that they didn't stay. I'm not special enough for them to stick around. Okay? So while it's not right, that's what our little brains think. And then what happens is now that belief will start to move through the different areas of life. So let's say that because we still hold on to this belief, it's big, it's important, and we've got it in our creator fields, right? So the belief is I'm not special from the parent, okay? Then what will happen is it can move, and it can move into different areas of life. And so let's say that sticks in and you are maybe 10 and you go to try out for something or audition for something and you don't get picked. So now what happens is that belief that you weren't special that you had at age 7 when the parent left is that it's moving over into a different area of life. And now you're not going to get picked for whatever this thing is that you're auditioning for or trying out for. And you are now going to continue to feel not special because you didn't feel good enough, special enough, unique enough, talented enough to get picked for that thing that you were wanting to do. And then let's say it's going to get bigger and it's going to grow. So let's say then it moves into whenever you are 15 years old, into relationship stuff. And let's say that you are in a relationship and your boyfriend or girlfriend breaks up with you. That is going to give you further proof that you aren't special because they didn't want you. They didn't choose you anymore. They broke up with you. They're done with you. So there's even more proof that you're special. And then let's say you're now graduated from college and you are 22 years old and you're trying to get this job. You are going on this job interview, and then you're going to get passed over for this like dream job that you might be wanting to get because it's like, you know, the best company and they're paying the most amount of money and it's this amazing experience and opportunity and you're dying for this and you want it. And then you go in for the interview and then you get the call, sorry, we didn't pick you. We had to go a different direction. We chose somebody else. So again, you're feeling not special. You're feeling not unique. You're feeling not chosen. And you're not important enough and you're not the best. So there's these I'm not special beliefs that transfer and grow and get bigger. And so then imagine if you kept that train going and this I'm not special belief is like on full force and it's going, and then it transfers into your marriage. It transfers into money. Money's not going to pick you if you don't feel special and unique and you don't value yourself. A husband or a wife isn't going to want to pick you, or it might not be a very good one that does pick you, and then you have a really awful relationship. And so the thing that I think is most important here is just to understand that if you guys aren't able to realize this pattern in your lives or see like, okay, shoot, this happened, this happened, this happened. And maybe now that you're listening to this, you're getting like these clicks and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, that happened. And because whenever, this happened whenever I was little, and then this happened whenever I was in the 7th grade. And then now here I am in high school and I just had this massive breakup, or I just had, whatever, these things that are happening to you now. And now it's like clicking and you're like, oh, this is why these things are happening to me. And it's a really cool thing to like stop and realize, because that's the point. Remember when we were talking about reflections and I said that reflections are a gift? Like they are the things that are there to show us how we're living out of alignment, to wake us up and snap us back and be like, okay, how do I get back onto alignment? And so these not special reflections that you're having, these things that happen throughout your life that just keep growing and getting bigger and bigger, the purpose of them to get bigger is for you to finally like stop in your tracks and say, okay, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of feeling this way. I don't want this to happen anymore. I'm over this not feeling special. How do I change it? How do I get out of this? And so what happens is then you are becoming your biggest cheerleader, and you're the person who gets to then take control of everything, shift out of that I'm not special, and wonder and realize how wonderful and amazing you actually are. So we feel it for the first time, it grows and grows and grows, and then we get to snap out of it. And that's the amazing thing about you guys being here listening to this podcast right now, is that you are able to now stop these reflections, these big growing reflections, dead in their tracks, and get back onto alignment to the life that you are meant to live, to experience all these amazing, gorgeous things in life. And so many people don't get to do this. And you just listening to this podcast right now, you being here right now, makes you so special, because you get to do all of these things that so many other people like will never have. They won't get this for another 70 lifetimes. And you're here and you get to do it right now with me. Like, it's so much fun to realize this. And this is another thing that I was going to tell you about. So we have that one event, and then we have the next event, and then we have the next event, that these reflections are growing and growing. And so as they continue and as they get bigger, there's something that's called the law of focus. And the law of focus comes into play here, because the law of focus is what you focus on, you will get more of. Okay, so the law of focus is what you focus on, you will get more of. And so if you are having that not feeling special and you're focusing on it, because every time you focus on, I'm not special, I didn't get picked, I didn't get chosen, these people didn't stick around for me, then that's how that gets cemented into your creator field. And then what you're projecting out is I'm not special. And so you'll get back more of I'm not special, not getting chosen, not getting picked, not getting all the things that you want. And so that law of focus just puts everything on loop and makes it get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it gets so big that you can't ignore it, right? Which is the good part. And then we get to also understand then that because the law of focus, now that we know that the law of focus created this huge monster reflection of I'm not special, is that we get to use the law of focus in our favor. Then we get to understand, okay, this is why this was happening, and now I get to change it. I get to change my law of focus. I get to rewrite the script that I'm putting out into my creator field by changing my beliefs. And so when you are able to understand that your beliefs, remember, are only a program that's running constantly in your head. They are things that you've heard over and over and over again, and they are not true unless they feel good. If they feel bad, they are not true. And then what you know is that through the law of focus, since it created this negative, undesirable thing in your life of not feeling special, or even if it's being bad at math, is that we can change it. Everything is able to be shifted. Everything is able to be changed. There is always, always a solution to your problem. And so the law that's working so much in your favor right here is the law of focus, because we can change our focus from being bad at math or I'm not special to I am wildly special or I'm really good at math, and finding all of the ways that you are those things that you desire to feel. So keep that in mind, is that you guys, there's always a way to shift things. And so for this week, I think the most important thing for you guys is to think about, just be conscious, be aware of what are some of the beliefs that I have about myself that are not serving me. What are some of those things that don't feel good whenever I think of them? And then what you can do is just realize, okay, these beliefs aren't true. They're just something that I've heard from somewhere, someone, some way that aren't true, and I can change them. I can change the way that I think and feel and believe about myself. Everything can be changed. Everything has a solution. And so we can change that. So this week, realize what your beliefs are. Just take note. And then if you think about it, think about how special you are. What are some of the things about you that are so unique and so amazing? And they can be small, teeny little things, or they could be huge, like whatever you can think of. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too big. Think of the amazing things that you have to offer to this world. Are you really funny? Are you very trustworthy? Are you so loving? What are some of these amazing qualities about yourself that make you special and make you unique? And use the law of focus in your favor this week and find things that make you special and unique. Okay, next week we'll be back with another podcast. In the meantime, have fun with all of this and have a gorgeous, gorgeous week.